Hi, everybody. Oh, that's loud. So I'm going to say we should get started. It's 7:10, and I think everyone is here who's going to be here. So if everybody could find a seat, I'd appreciate it. I hope we have enough chairs. Looks like we... We'll give everybody a couple minutes, or a minute and a half. There are people still coming in the door, which is nice. So this is a wonderful turnout. I'm so happy to see all of you here this evening. There are lots of other things going on, and I know there's rain threatened, so I really appreciate everybody coming tonight. First thing I need to do is say how grateful the League is to the Jenks Center and their staff for letting us use this wonderful space and helping us plan this. And also grateful to WinCam. WinCam is going to be recording this so it can be viewed afterwards. And we're also very grateful to the Cummings Foundation for their generous grant making this room so perfect for gatherings like this. So tonight we are here to present the Civic Leadership Award to Gloria Legvold for her collaborative, fearless, and generous leadership and many contributions to organizations and causes in Winchester and beyond over many, many years. The award recognizes idealism, intelligence, compassion, and the ability to shape public discourse in a civil manner. Previous winners have included Judy Muggia, Sarah Swiger, and another educator like Gloria, Judy Manzo, Karen Conley, and many, many others. Last year's winner was Wei Han, an organizer of Winchester's Asian community, and currently, I believe, on the Council on Aging leadership. So he's here, and thank you for coming, Wei. This year, it's Gloria Legvold we've chosen to honor and celebrate. So I would like to first just share some of her background. Gloria's journey began in South Dakota, where she was born and grew up, attended the public schools and the University of South Dakota, graduating alongside her husband, Robert, whom she first met in high school. Gloria earned a bachelor's degree in English and physical science, originally, not physical science, English and political science, sorry. I should have just gone, but anyway. Originally intending to pursue a career in teaching. Then when Robert began his graduate studies at Tufts University's Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy, the couple moved to Malden, Massachusetts. marking the start of Gloria's impactful career in education and civic engagement. As a dedicated working mother, Gloria balanced her professional and family life while she and her husband raised their 2 children, Nathan and Nancy, who are both with us tonight as well. And she spent many years teaching English and social studies, first in public schools in Stowe, Massachusetts, the middle school there, and later at Lexington's Diamond Middle School, before joining the independent schools Neshoba Brooks in Concord, and then Cambridge School of Weston, where she also served as Dean of Faculty for several years. After a remarkable 40-year career in education, Gloria retired from full-time teaching, leaving a legacy of dedication, innovation, and leadership. The Legvold family settled in Winchester after living abroad for periods of time in England, France, and Senegal. Their first home was in the Winchester Gardens neighborhood, affectionately known as the Pit, for its history as a gravel pit. Winchester became a long-term base where their children attended the public schools. Gloria's deep-rooted passion for civic involvement first led her to join the League of Women Voters in Woburn in her 20s, where she found like-minded women eager to engage in the political and community issues of the day. I think we now call that a group of second-wave feminists. Upon moving to Winchester, she connected with local League member Judy Muggia and continued her involvement in the League's efforts. She continued to be involved in the League's efforts for informed, active citizenship. During her time with the Winchester League, Gloria played a key role in promoting inclusivity and collaboration. She contributed to shifting the organization form from a traditional leadership structure to a more egalitarian steering committee and rotating secretary or clerk, and adjusting the membership dues to ensure accessibility for all. One of the League's notable initiatives during this time was the creation of the Movable Feast, a luncheon that is served by the League to town staff and which is served right in Town Hall, the fire department building, police HQ, and the DPW office on a rotating basis, which is something the League still does to this day. Another thing they did was completing a formal study on the lack of childcare in Winchester, which ultimately led to the founding of the nonprofit Kids Corner, which is still operating in the Mystic School. Gloria's commitment to her community extends beyond the League. She has been a dedicated member of the Winchester Unitarian Society since the 1960s, serving on multiple committees, including the Standing Committee, the Social Action and Impact and Outreach Committee, and the Racial Justice Team. Gloria continues to co-author a weekly column called Building Beloved Community, which is featured in the congregation's newsletter. Her contributions also span her work with the Winchester Network for Social Justice, which formerly was known as the Winchester Multicultural Network. Gloria served on the network's volunteer board from 2006 to 2017, later joining the steering committee until 2020. She played a pivotal role in advocating for the adoption of Winchester's Human Rights Statement, and that was in 2009, and has been actively involved in committees focused on immigrant justice and Indigenous peoples' rights. Additionally, Gloria helped organize annual community-wide gatherings called Winchester in Transition. I don't know how many of those there were, but several. And those were aimed at fostering inclusion and celebrating diversity, the town's growing diversity. Gloria was one of the original organizers of the Town Common Task Force, which has held several civic gatherings before the pandemic. And those have been dedicated to building a caring and connected community as well. Throughout her years of civic engagement, Gloria has been a tireless advocate for voter education, organizing candidate forums or other information for voters, voter registration drives, and topical events for the League. But in addition, either as a League member or a private citizen, written countless letters to editors and legislators, championing issues important to the community and to the Commonwealth. Gloria also encouraged many, many local residents to get more involved, join town organizations, and run for office, and that list would include me. Gloria's lifelong dedication to public service and community activism is best captured in a quote from Louis Brandeis, when he said that the most important political office, and the one which all of us can and should fill, is that of private citizen. I think that's important in this year, as in many others, right? So for her many contributions, the Massachusetts Commission on the Status of Women recognized Gloria as an unsung hero in 2015, which is a fitting honor for someone whose quiet, steadfast work has enriched the lives of many people. So, now we'd like to turn to having some of the people who know Gloria best talk about her. The first person we'd like to invite up would be Vicky Coccoluto, who's a member of the Winchester Unitarian Society.
Thank you, Susan. How's this? More my height. Well, good evening, everyone. When I first met Gloria in the early 2000s, it was a pretty lively era like the one we have now, when there was a lot of energy among activist groups. Back then, there was discontent with the national election process after the Supreme Court shaped the outcome of the 2000 election, and the war on terror launched after 9/11 was not really going that well. Lots of people were energized, like now, and Gloria was involved in non-party affiliated groups, such as Winchester United for Justice and Peace, and later helped found a group called Winchester Area Democracy in Action, affectionately known as WADIA. I thought this produced an ingenious acronym. If you're not happy with what's going on, what are you gonna do about it? So it was actually later than that, in another setting, where I would witness Gloria's capacity for leadership and her creative ability to encourage alternate ways of looking at the world, and how that would be in our faith community, Winchester Unitarian Society, which I joined about 10 years ago. Before that time, Gloria had already led many committees, fellowship, membership, the student intern committee, just to name a few. She always championed women for leadership positions, and she recognized that there's more than one way to do that. For example, she found that a rather traditional women's activity, a quilting group, was one place where she could encourage women to find their voice and build up their confidence so they could speak up in other forums beyond the sewing circle. And they did. She was also a calm and intelligent voice in the institutional governing structure, which is the standing committee on which she served for multiple 3-year terms. With any committee she was involved in, Gloria was always an advocate for reaching out to the larger community. She was the organizing energy for innumerable initiatives in the realms of social, racial, and economic justice. Speaker events included author Chuck Collins of the Institute for Policy Studies. His book, Born on Third Base, captured Gloria's attention, resulting in an invitation to speak about the sources of economic inequality attributable to intergenerational transfers of vast wealth. She also tapped author-historian Kate Clifford Larson to review her biography of Fannie Lou Hamer, a voting and women's rights activist of the mid-20th century. It was always important to Gloria to make these educational and consciousness-raising events welcoming to the general public. Meanwhile, within the congregation, she and others dedicated to justice work have steadily, patiently, and faithfully influenced the way the congregants think about the privilege they were born into simply by virtue of their skin color, and has educated us on ways we can be in the world that will make it more just. Not everyone is on the same wavelength, but as I thought about the characteristics that define tonight's recognition, Gloria is the epitome of leading to positive change in a collaborative way. Steady rather than abrupt. Respectful rather than harsh. This takes longer, but it lasts longer. An example that might illustrate the confidence placed in Gloria for a diplomatic role was one that required a delicate maneuver. During one of her terms on the standing committee, she was designated to speak to the minister about the length of sermons. There was a lot of grumbling about it, and so she did. And I asked Gloria, did it work? And she said, well, after that, when Bob and I accompanied our daughter down the aisle for her wedding, it seemed to me we were left standing there for an awfully long time. So I'd have to say no. One more story that illustrates Gloria's values on governance. At a time when the congregation needed to call a new minister, which is the responsibility of the standing committee, there was a question of how they would decide who would be the members of the actual search committee. The bylaws did not cover this, and there were complaints, always, about how the search committees had been chosen in the past. Was the process open and fair? What was Gloria's suggested solution to this challenge? She said, why not have an election open to all the congregation to vote their choices for membership on the search committee? Always true to her values, Gloria suggested a democratic process as essential grounding for that important decision. Thank you, Gloria, for your distinguished leadership and for being a strong voice for democracy. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicki. That was great. Next, we'd like to hear from Sandy Thompson, who's founder of the Multicultural Network and Winchester Network for Social Justice.
Thank you. Well, it's a privilege to talk about you tonight, Gloria. Susan has mentioned so many of the things that Gloria has been involved with in town and in the network, and I could add a number of things to that. But I'm going back to something you mentioned, which was our WIT, Winchester and Transition Conferences, because I think Gloria was a major mover and shaker in that effort. And I think that the conferences really demonstrated values that we all hold dear. So just for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, we talked about wit. So you could use a few jokes about that, but we won't go there. But anyway, we call them Winchester in Transition, as you said, Susan, because they were addressing some of the transitions that our community was and is going through on many levels. They brought people together from all different interest groups and identities with the idea of fostering a stronger and more cohesive and collaborative, resilient community. They raised awareness around issues of race, class, accessibility, housing, and inclusion. So WIT 2012 was a full-day conference about community. And that was a town hall with a panel discussion and table conversations around a wide range of topics. And there were 150 people there. I bet many of you, I know there were many of you there at that first one. And the second one was a half day featuring a speaker, Saul Gittleman, that many of you know, and breakout sessions focused on accessibility, class, changing demographics, and stress. And there were other wits to follow. Anyway, Gloria's work with the WIT conferences exemplify her long-term vision and willingness to take on big projects. Gloria was a major force in the planning and carrying out of these events. The work, I believe, reflected her deep commitment to social justice issues of all kinds. And her work on social justice has permeated all her work throughout the community. Gloria is known for her attention to detail, her thoroughness, her vision, and her outreach. And that contributes to the success of everything she's involved with. Someone I just talked to tonight who came in said she thinks of two words when it comes to Gloria: passion and positivity. I think that's good to remember. So I want to read something that I just came across that Gloria wrote to the organizations that participated in the first WIT. I don't know if you remember this, Gloria, but it's a section from a rather long letter. But this really speaks to Gloria's values and how powerfully she writes. One of the things I've always admired is her writing. So I'm going to quote here from part of that letter. Along with the network's focus on human rights and equity in its mission statement, we recognize that true collaboration has power. We reach out to those in our town who have smaller, quieter voices. There's a synergy that occurs when like-minded people work together, rather than in fragmentation and duplication. Innovation and creativity, the ability to do more with less in times of economic stress, to engage a broad and inclusive spectrum of residents and workers, to celebrate the richness of our diversity, and to practice true democracy. This is collaboration. We enhance the capacity of another for our mutual benefit by sharing risks, resources, responsibility, and rewards. This is community. We reinforce and augment each other's work for greater success and impact. That's Gloria. This is civic leadership. And I wonder how many people in this room have been recruited by Gloria. Exhibit A. For the league or the network, or perhaps to come to a service at the Unitarian Church. Have you ever been invited for a friendly coffee? One of her favorite ways to reach out to people. Her warm and generous nature has made people feel welcome, whether from another country or from a different perspective. A network volunteer recently told me that she was talking to someone who'd been at a network event where Gloria was a volunteer. And this person said she felt so welcome and so valued and included in the event. And this person said, it felt like a warm hug. What more can you ask for? So here's offering a warm hug to you, Gloria, with deep appreciation for all the social justice work you have done with the network and everywhere in this town.
Thank you so much, Sandy. Next, we'll hear from Jason Lewis or Susan. They wanted to team up. I wasn't sure who to introduce first, but Susan Lewis, teacher at Neshoba Brooks School.
So I think it's kind of fitting that I am speaking after Sandy, also one of my mentors and personal heroes. So I want to thank the League for giving me this opportunity to publicly express my deep gratitude and affection for Gloria Legvold, who is indeed a hero to me. And this is not the first time that the League has recognized my mentors and heroes. Several of them are in the audience as well. So as you heard in abundance from the earlier speakers, Gloria has had a significant, incredibly positive impact on our community. And like Sandy, I was particularly impressed by how Gloria spearheaded the WIT, Winchester in Transition series of convenings. She brought together such a diverse mix of people who might otherwise have been in their separate silos, business leaders and school officials, town officials, new residents to town who might not have felt welcome were it not for Gloria's warm invitation. She helped all of these people see that they were stakeholders in working together to make our community strong. Gloria's work with the League and with the network has been guided and motivated by, I think, her heartfelt conviction, her belief that everyone deserves to feel welcome. Everyone deserves to have that sense of belonging and that sense that they can and should have a voice. She has motivated me, so many hundreds, if not more, people in our community to step up and become more active. On a more personal note, if it weren't for Gloria, the course of my own life would have been very different. It really would have. It was Gloria who first encouraged me about 16 years ago to get involved with the League. I don't know whether it was one of those friendly coffees at La Patisserie or something like that, to get involved with both the League and with the network, two organizations that have deeply impacted my life, and I'm thankful for that. And then about a dozen years ago, when I was thinking about changing careers, it was Gloria who, by her career itself, laid a path for me. She really inspired me because I I said to myself, if a woman that is this brilliant, this talented, this curious can have found this profession as fulfilling as she says that it was for her, and I truly believe it was, then it was something that I would like to try as well. And I'm just incredibly thankful for that. And I not only became a teacher, but I became a teacher and was at the school, one of the schools where Gloria taught, and where her impact is still felt today. Gloria, I know from talking to past teaching colleagues of hers and past students of hers, because some of her students are now parents in my community who still remember Gloria. I know that she has motivated her many, many students to become active citizens themselves. Gloria helped to teach them not what to think, but how to think critically and how to write persuasively, and to recognize that they have a voice. So Gloria, I hope you know how grateful I am for having you in my life, for having you as a role model and a friend. So congratulations on this very deserved honor.
Thank you, Susan. And now we welcome Jason Lewis.
Thank you, Susan. Did anybody notice that when Susan mentioned previous recipients of the Civic Leadership Award, she left one person out? Herself. So. Well, I'm just delighted to share the stage tonight with some remarkable women leaders in our community, and yes, I'm a little biased. One of them is my wife. As we come together to honor such a amazing person, Gloria Legvold. I can't think of anyone more deserving of this recognition this evening. So I want to thank the League of Women Voters for bringing us together and for presenting this award, the Civic Leadership Award, again this year. And of course, I want to thank the League for all the important work that you do throughout the year to promote civic engagement in the Winchester community. So continuing on a theme you've been hearing this evening, it's probably not an overstatement to say that you wouldn't be stuck with me as your state senator if it wasn't for Gloria Legvold. And the way this came about was about 2 decades ago. I was considering, exploring some new career options, and I was, starting to think about maybe something in the political world. It was brand new to me. I hadn't run for office before, didn't really have any role models in my own family, and I got introduced to Gloria, and we got talking. And Gloria then connected me to a wonderful organization which still exists today called Mass Alliance. And Mass Alliance, remember Georgia Hollister Esmond, who was the executive director at the time. And that's really what got things going. And that's what led to getting a campaign off the ground. And I was very lucky and fortunate to be elected as the state representative, a seat now held by Mike Day. And then after that as the state senator. So if you're not happy with what I'm doing, you can blame Gloria for that. So Gloria was very involved in the campaign. That first campaign, she was my campaign chair. And she remained my campaign chair through many campaigns since then. We even had a redistricting at one point. After the census, every 10 years we redistrict. And so it turns out that Gloria is actually not my constituent anymore because I don't represent your precinct, Precinct 4. And I just would not let Gloria go. She was like, well, maybe you should get a different campaign chair now, someone who is your constituent. But I was like, no, we're not letting Gloria go. So eventually she prevailed on me. But Gloria was instrumental in so many campaigns and, campaigns are powered by student interns. And student interns are wonderful. They bring lots of energy and enthusiasm, but they sometimes can use a little help with their spelling and their grammar, their punctuation. And Gloria made sure that any communications, right, that we were sending out from our campaign, they were perfect. So I'm sure that made a difference too, Gloria, so thank you. Gloria's deep commitment, as we all know, to civic engagement and social justice permeates everything she does. And some of the issues that I know she's passionate about, because I've seen the work she does in the community, but also because I know from emails that she has sent me advocating for legislation on these issues, includes voting rights, affordable housing, food security, public education that really includes civics education and history, social studies for our young people, healthcare access, immigrant rights, and of course, women's rights. Gloria has shared with me that her earliest memory of politics was as a 3 or 4-year-old sitting in her grandfather's lap to listen to FDR fireside chats. She was too young to understand the words, but she could appreciate the tone and resonance of FDR's voice. And then she would hear her other grandfather later railing against the policies of the Secretary of Agriculture at the time. Gloria has volunteered on so many political campaigns over the years at the local, state, and national level, including some great Democratic leaders from our home state of South Dakota. Yes, there actually used to be some wonderful Democratic leaders from South Dakota. And also some of our local leaders. She's mentioned her efforts around the success of my campaigns, but also 2 other phenomenal local leaders who I'm so proud to work with. Representative Mike Day, who's also here tonight, and the other person, Senator Pat Jalen. And she wanted to especially send her regrets that she couldn't be here. She's such a fan of Gloria's, and she was so sad she couldn't be here tonight, Gloria, because she has COVID. And that's the only reason. That's the only reason Pat's not here tonight as well. In 2015, as you heard from Susan, Gloria was recognized by the Massachusetts Commission on the Status of Women as an unsung heroine after she was nominated for the award by Senator Jalen, Rep. Day, and myself. Congratulations, Gloria, to you, to Bob, to your entire family on this wonderful and well-deserved honor.
Thanks, Jason. Next up, we have a very special person, Nancy Rubico, who is Gloria's daughter.
Oh, I can't do this without my glasses. And I can't hide in this dress. Oh my goodness. Hi everyone. I'm getting over bronchitis, so I might have a cough at some point, so hello everyone. How fun is it here to be celebrating my mom? I can't begin to express how excited I am to be standing in front of you all today, and even more excited to celebrate my mother, a truly remarkable woman. I am deeply honored to be here, sharing with you the beautiful soul that is my mother, inside and out. I start this story with my mom as my mom. My mother's journey began as a young mom, just 20 years old. And from the very start, she never stepped back from life or from what was needed to be done. She faced challenges head on with a strength and determination that always amazed me. And in everything she became involved in, whether it was political work, teaching, nonprofits, or her church, she naturally became a leader. She stepped up, not for recognition, but because she knew how to bring people together, how to inspire and guide them towards something greater. Her understanding of the world goes beyond the surface, My mother has a profound sense of the injustices and the sufferings that exist in the world, shaped by her personal experiences, her life experiences, and her professional journey. This understanding has given her a deep, unshakable core, a grounding that lets her both stay rooted to the earth and reach for the sky, dreaming of what is and what could be. At her core, my mother believes in justice. She believes in change, but more than that, she believes in people. She believes in community and connection and making sure that everyone feels seen and heard. Her vision of the world is one where these values are not just ideals, but lived realities. She does all this quietly. She doesn't seek the spotlight or demand recognition. Her desire is not to be the star of this work, but to support and guide, to make a difference in ways that often go unnoticed but are always felt. Yet despite her quiet approach, she naturally emerged as a leader in every sphere she touched. My mother has been deeply involved in political campaigns, as you've heard, knocking on doors. I remember back when I was 12, she was working on a congressional campaign, and I was knocking on doors with her, writing notes, making calls, and managing all the details with a level of dedication that truly inspires. She never shied away from doing the hard work necessary to make the world a better place, and in doing so, she became a trusted leader, someone others look to for direction and inspiration. Throughout my life, my mother has modeled for me what it means to live with compassion and the power for change. She has shown me that real strength lies in quiet determination, and that real impact comes from supporting others in their journey. But there's another side to my mother that's equally important: her playfulness and her ability to find joy in the unexpected. And one of my favorite memories is a trip we took to a modern art museum, where we walked into a room and there were 100 bricks lined on the floor, straight line. And my mom and I were watching, looking at it, and we thought, okay, there's probably some deep insight in the description. But nope, it said 100 bricks. We couldn't hold it in. We burst out laughing, tears rolling down our face, bent over with this guard looking at us in great concern. But that's my mom, playful, silly, and able to draw you into moments of pure, unfiltered joy. We have some faculty here from CSW, and I know that they have a lot of stories of that with my mom. And there are so many more stories of laughter and love that have run through my life, like my mom teaching me to jitterbug. Apparently, my dad is off rhythm, but my mom could dance with her in high school. Blasting music and singing while cleaning the house, lying on the floor side by side, reading the music lyrics of the songs that we were listening to, traveling together, watching movies, and cooking. There was always this incredible flow of warmth, a feeling of being loved that surrounded me. And it wasn't just for family. She shared this warmth with everyone she met. People were drawn to her, impacted by her, and they left with a feeling of being truly heard. My mother's career as an educator is another testament to her grace, adaptability, and leadership. She ended her teaching career at the Cambridge School of Weston, a high school with both boarding and day students. The school's unique mod system with its 6-week courses and 90-minute classes was an adjustment. But as always, my mother gracefully walked through the trepidation of something new, embraced the challenge, and as you would expect, excelled. And unsurprisingly, she quickly became a leader among her colleagues, guiding others with the same care and dedication she's shown throughout her life. Just the other week, this is how small the world is, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine named Sally at the gym that I go to in Alton, New Hampshire, right? And she was telling me about her grandchildren and their parents in Massachusetts. She mentioned that her daughter and son-in-law both worked for private schools. On a whim, I threw out a name, Cambridge School of Weston. She looked surprised and said her son-in-law worked there and they lived on campus. I was amazed, and I shared that my mom had worked there too, Gloria Legvold. Well, the next day, Sally texted me and she said, "Hi, I texted my son-in-law, the one that's an assistant head at CSW, and asked if he knew your mother. He responded that he met Gloria once when she visited, but didn't know her. He said that she is, quote, a legend at CSW and loved by all." Sally went on to text, "Isn't this an amazingly small world story?" And Sally said, "Your mother sounds like an amazing woman." This is just one of the many examples of how my mom's influence and spirit continues to ripple out in the world, touching lives in ways we don't often even realize. So today we celebrate her quiet strength, her playful spirit, her deep compassion, her leadership, and her unwavering belief in the power of community and change. Thank you, Mom, for being the incredible woman you are, and for showing all of us what it means to live a life of purpose and love.
Thank you, Nancy. So, unsung no longer, Gloria. Next, we'd like to hear from Representative Michael Day, representing Stoneham and Winchester.
Thank you, Susan. Good evening, everyone. You may be wondering why, after we heard so many words of truth and love about Gloria, I am here to end the program. And the truth is, I have got the worst known RSVP skills known to humanity. So I did not officially RSVP back to Susan until this afternoon, which is why I don't see me in the program and why you're stuck with me at the end. We opened with a bang and you closed with a whimper, so I'm sorry about that, Gloria. Senator Lewis had talked about Gloria's incredible involvement in encouraging folks to run. When I first dipped my toe in the water here in Winchester, I heard multiple times, "Have you sat with Gloria?" And I said, "Who's Gloria?" And they said, "Oh, you don't know Winchester then." Susan had referenced that Gloria had a degree in physical science, and then corrected it to political science, and I think physical science might be more apropos given the arena nowadays. But when I first sat down with Gloria, all I could think of was kindness and inclusivity. The conversations you have when you run for office are often uncomfortable, sometimes stilted. And when I left that conversation with Gloria, I felt more encouraged than I had when I first decided to run. The inclusivity, the warmth, and the encouragement from Gloria, even on issues we may not have agreed on 100%, reinvigorated me in that race. And when I would feel the depths of challenges or criticisms, a quick call or an email from Gloria would pick you right back up. So thank you for that. That inclusivity, that kindness continues today. You look often at what's going on social media, the nastiness that's out there, the personal attacks that occur often. And you see it in the Winchester residence page. We're not immune from it here either. And when you see it getting particularly nasty, you'll see this calming influence come in with a comment from Gloria Legvold. And it immediately takes the temperature down. It immediately brings things back to the issues instead of the personalities. Jason had referenced, Senator Lewis had referenced, sometimes we'll get those communications from Gloria to this day, a gentle nudge reminding you of what's important in the work that we do up in the legislature. But more often than not, it's a request for help for somebody else. Often not even a constituent, just can you help? And when you get those emails from Gloria, you know it's time to step up and do your job. The moral compass that Gloria has and exhibits in a daily basis in this community has made this community better, has made our world better. And if more of us had Gloria's moral compass, we would be a much healthier world. Bob and I were talking just before, and he said, Gloria's job is keeping peace here, mine's keeping the peace in the world. And Bob said he was failing in that respect nowadays. I don't think so, given your work, Bob, but I certainly think the two of them together have made this world a much juster, more inclusive, and kinder place. We are very, very fortunate in Winchester and this region to have this pillar of our community here with us. The honor is very well deserved, I think overdue. I'm happy to be here to present, I think, the kickoff. The real reason I'm closing this is to kick off a couple of the presentations to Gloria. So I will do that with a citation from the Massachusetts House of Representatives, different from the Senate. Not as ritzy as the Senate, but we try to do our best here. Commonwealth of Massachusetts House of Representatives, be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to Gloria Legvold in recognition of your years of unwavering dedication to bettering our community of Winchester through your leadership, mentorship, inclusivity, and service. The entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors, given this 19th day of September 2024, signed by the Speaker, Ronald Mariano. Gloria, thank you for all that you do, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. So we now come to the moment when we're going to actually make the award. And so I'll ask Gloria to come on up, and I'll just tell you a little bit about the award itself. It recognizes someone who has made a significant contribution to our civic life at the local or state level, or both. Each year, the honoree has shown a high degree of competence and compassion, who's brought ethical meaning to the issues and policies of the day. A person who combines intelligence with idealism, works to resolve conflicts in a collaborative style, and has engaged others in an inclusive manner in her efforts. Gloria, I know I speak for the entire membership of the League of Women Voters of Winchester and the steering committee when I say that we are thrilled to present this award to you. Gloria, I have to warn you, this award itself is very heavy, but I wanted you to see it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
It also has the quote about how the most important political office that we can all fill, and that Gloria epitomizes, is that of private citizen, the office of private citizen. So,
Thank you. Thank you. Well, are we sort of the same height?
I think so. Yeah, it should work.
Thank you. Thank you. What an honor to be standing here. I'm feeling such overwhelming gratitude for all these words that have been spoken. For the wonderful League of Women Voters. Did you all know, and I learned this from Judy Muggia, there used to be a little town phone book that was published, and we were listed as the League of Women Vultures. That's a true story. I mean, I trust Judy. I trust her to tell the truth. The League has always, for me, satisfied two commitments: the importance of women's leadership and the importance of an informed participation in our democracy. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, the League of Women Voters, for giving me this recognition. And thank you for creating, in one evening, a program honoring so many values that I hold dear. First, always, our family, and the honorable profession of teaching, and politics with intelligence and integrity, equity, justice, and inclusion for all within our community, and recognition of the worthiness and dignity of every person. Anything I do, that we do, is in collaboration and community. And so humility is another strong emotion I'm experiencing. All of the success of these organizations depends on a dedicated, generous core of volunteers. And I'm looking out right now, and I'm seeing a whole audience of volunteers. And I applaud each and every one of you. We are all in this together, so thank you. I close with a quotation from another era, because I don't want to get involved in the polarization and division right now. So this is from another era. I hope some of you are old enough to remember it. And maybe the tone you will find useful in this presidential election year. Departing President Eisenhower in 1961 set expectations for the new administration in his farewell address. He said, "Only an alert and knowledgeable citizenry can ensure America's future. Our belief in a common good, our commitment to each other, and our participation in public and private action in a civil manner will underpin our democracy's strong foundation. We can work on this together." Wishing all of us happiness, and dare I say joy, and many, many more good works together. Thank you so much for this incredible honor and the kind words that have been said this evening. Thank you.
Well done. Well said. Well said. We'll take care of this.
Okay.
Thank you all. So we are thrilled that all of you could be with us tonight, and just gives, touches my heart to see all of you. Thank you.